Good morning. This is Bill from Auto Europa Naples, and in continuing this week of cars that I've really enjoyed, today I have this 1988 Rolls-Royce Silver Spur. Now, Rolls-Royce has probably been the greatest ambassador for England since Lloyd George. I mean, it is synonymous with wealth and luxury all around the world. It could well be the most recognizable car brand in world history. Take that, Mercedes. And it is because they build some of the finest and most intriguing and most storied automobiles that have really ever rolled the roads. This one in 1988 was based on the Silver Spur platform. It came after the rather famous Silver Shadow cars, which sort of changed the way Rolls-Royce did business. They went from being these sort of stodgy, overbuilt, conservative things that, where people were chauffeured around in, to being these stodgy, overbuilt, conservative things that people kind of drove themselves, and they became a status symbol. And in fact, the Shadow was a bit of a victim of its own success. They made a bunch of them, and as a result, you can see them in various states of disrepair. To some extent, that holds true with the Spirit and Spur, although there weren't quite as many on the roads. In fact, in '88, less than 1,000 cars were made, which probably, means it's what Toyota puts out in about a day. So these things, you're not going to see too many of them at the stoplights if you're sitting there. You can see the car is absolutely gorgeous. Of course, all hand-built, in this stage, hand-painted. This is before any of the Germans got involved. There's no BMW in this, no Volkswagen. This is all hand-built British craftsmanship from a time that no longer exists and never really will exist. I mean, I know, exist again, I should say. I know that Rolls-Royce still does quite a bit of hand building and, does take their time with the cars, but this was different. This was a very, very different era. You can see the lines of the car are stately, incredible, really make an impact. I mean, we've got this 140 car that I did yesterday, which, is a big sucker, and this thing is bigger. So, if you were, the chairman of the board, the owner of the company, you might have to go up to the Rolls in order to outclass the CEO. Anyway, let's get into this thing. Many, many years ago, back in the early 1900s, a guy named Charles Rolls met a guy named Henry Royce, and they truly were two very different cats. Charles Rolls was the son of privilege and aristocracy. He went to the finest schools. He became the head of an engineering company, a very, very upscale British cat. And Henry Royce was very, very different. He was a man of the people, if you will. He was the son of either a miller or a farmer. I can't remember which. But he's a self-made man, made his own car company, impressed the hell out of Charles Rolls, who had become a car dealer of sorts, and the two decided to go in together and make cars with both of their names on it, and the rest really is history. One thing that's worth noting is Rolls was very into the idea of airplanes, loved aviation, and got Rolls-Royce into making airplane engines. Well, of course, all the jets you fly in today, a lot of them, you look out the window, you see the big double R on the giant jet engine. Pretty neat stuff. But, probably their most famous engine was the Merlin out of the Spitfire. That said, Rolls, bit of a daredevil, became the first Briton to die in an airplane accident, so it really didn't work out very well for him. Anyway, you can see the trunk is finished in a way that only a Rolls-Royce can be. I mean, absolutely gorgeous trimmed carpet with the piping. Lovely. You've got little compartments here, This cracks me up. Here's a British car company that just knows its cars are going to leak. Look at this. The animals are out on the roads today. It's fantastic. I mean, it's almost Christmas. For God's sake, drive slower. Anyway, there it is. So there's all your hydraulic suspension fluid in case you need to top it off. Rolls is very nice enough to put a little guy in there to do that for you. If you look under here, you can see the white gloves for your chauffeur to change the tire, jacking hardware, that sort of thing. All goes together with nice little snaps. Also a built-in battery switch because, of course, Rolls-Royce knows that their cars are probably going to have a draw. One thing I never liked about this generation was the way that these taillights came down over the trunk, and you would bang your head into these things as you're leaning into the trunk to get your cargo. But of course, you know, if you got your chauffeur doing it, who gives a crap? Give him a Band-Aid and tell him to get you to work or the countryside. Have a look under the hood. I always get fooled by the e-brake release here. The trunk release is over here. Hood release, I should say, sorry. I like the way the hood comes up, I should say the bonnet, from the rear, leans forward in a very traditional British style, revealing the 6 1/4 V8 engine, which is truly one of the most famous engines and long-lived engines in automotive history. I mean, this thing has been around forever in a bunch of different incarnations. In this one, it puts out about 260 horse, you know, not much for this almost 7-liter engine, but certainly enough to move the car down the road. You recognize this fuel injection system, looks straight off a Mercedes-Benz, probably a GM compressor. You know, they used a variety of different parts. Look at these guys. Look at all these people with the honking and the beeping, and for the love of God, man. Anyway, beautiful touches like the engine oil cap, the way that's all been engineered. It's all part of what makes these things so damn expensive. And I absolutely love this worldly badge on the brake system with, you know, French, Italian, Arabic. You know, this is such a global car. And look at this. It's got the cushions from a bordello under the hood, you know, in a downtown Paris dive. Actually, what of course that is incredible hood insulation designed to keep, you know, the interior occupants from any sound of engines or outside noise whatsoever. But absolutely beautiful engineering under here. Actually, I think we have an anti-lock light on in this car, so don't be alarmed when I'm driving it. Our, you know, guy ordered a part for it, some kind of a sensor, but turns out they don't stock it at Advance Auto, so we got to wait for it to come in. I didn't want that to hold up the video, though. I was anxious to get this car up. We got Christmas coming, and everything's going to slow down, so, you know, let's get the show rolling. Look at the beautiful lines on the hood of this thing. The way they've all been, you know, again, pressed by hand. It's absolutely stunning. The chrome strip down the center. You've got the Spirit of Ecstasy leading the way, you know, taking a bug in the teeth with the beautiful wings. Although I have to say, the whole angel thing always freaks me out. If there's one thing I don't like, it's the stupid angel thing where they have arms and wings. What are they, 6-legged things? I mean, unacceptable. So that's really something I wish people would address. The Rolls-Royce grille is absolutely unmistakable. I mean, that is the sign that somebody important has arrived. And it has some pretty incredible engineering into it. Like the little downward slats on this thing are ever so slightly curved so that optically it appears straight when it's going down the road. There's a lot of thought that goes into that big radiator grille. You can see the 4 square lights, nice, beautiful chrome top bumper, all the fit and finish. This was something the insurance companies fought them on, was the way that this fender goes into the front fascia. You know, every car in the world basically has a fender seam right there, which of course makes it easier to, you know, replace should there be a calamity. Not Rolls-Royce. They didn't want that line breaking up the flow, so they said hell with you to the insurance companies and went on and did their own thing. You know, the chrome touches on the car are beautiful. They contrast so nice with black. They really do. It's a terrific color for this car. It's just sort of, you know, a mixture between elegant, somber, stately. You can just picture, you know, your Winston Churchill type pulling up in this thing, getting out to sign a Paris Peace Accord. And, you know, the car itself is just so damn British, and it makes you think of all the things that we associate with Britain, like, you know, posh spice and faulty towers and Twiggy and, you know, that sort of thing. Even blood pudding. Rolls-Royce badge on the side. All very nice. Now, I believe it's possible this car came with an Everflex top. Most of the Silver Spurs did, a vinyl roof, so some owner in the past probably didn't like it, thought it dated the car, and had that removed to make it look more sleek. And I have to say, I agree with them. Not a big fan of the vinyl top on the Spurs. So anyway, very nice job. Couldn't have been that easy to get off, but they did it, and everything looks lovely. Or the car was ordered that way, and I just don't have a clue. Alright, let's see if I can open up the gas door, because that's interesting. I have to push a release. Alright, because this is the Spur, it is the long wheelbase model. And that means that you've got tons of legroom down there. So even Princess Di, when she's in the back of one of these things, was able to really spread her big long gams out and make them look elegant. The incredible Connolly hides, the smell, the beautiful big headrests. Look at all the burl and the detailing, the little leather grab handles. The way this car is assembled and put together is absolutely stunning. You know, all the little chrome. Everything is machined. None of this is plastic. This is all machined metal, much of it by hand, which is part of what makes these cars cost so much. These things are metal, machined by hand, knurled, knobbed. Incredible, with the beautiful burl wood on top. Again, being the Spur, this one has trays. See if I get that open. I'm not going to make any stupid Grey Poupon jokes. Move on, people. Move on. Anyway, lovely little burlwood tray there. Very, very nice, and fits in the back. You've also, you know, got a place for some sort of elegant weapon. If you're going to be driving around Florida, you can have your 9mm or your Walther PPK in there. Have a look up front. Let's see if I can pop this gas door first. Oil level refuel, there it is. So, you know, again, the finish, the quality in every part of this car. Look at the little flapper, tell me to unleaded fuel only. You know, even the gas door is a bit over-engineered. Absolutely beautiful. Going back inside, again, with the stitched leather on the door panels, the wood, the incredible, you know, vintage-looking chrome window switches and pull handles. Did have a modern sound system for this year, so nice speakers in the dash and the doors. You know, even their build plate is really overbuilt and over the top. You see it's a Spur, Rolls-Royce motors, the manufacturer, the weight. Yeah, this thing weighs a lot. And anyway, just all very incredible. Every single part of this car is just built to last. These are not cars that are meant to wear out. You can see the beautiful red hides. You know, when we're at this level, we do call them hides. And, you know, gorgeous to the touch. This was a new seat design for Rolls when this series came out. And very, very comfy, and actually very long-lived. It's nice. They became quite durable in a way that the older Rolls-Royce leather was not. I'm gonna get my key out, we'll go for a spin. Okay, closes with that solid thud. Inside, you can see the touches are incredible, like the leather-trimmed sun visors with all the languages on them. The beautifully finished headliner, absolutely gorgeous. You know, the very delicate-looking rearview mirror. Nice big long key here with some sort, I don't know if that's a Rolls-Royce keychain or a safety or I don't know what it is. And I think that guy opens up the, where the hell is it? There it is. Opens up the hubcap part of the wheel so you can get in and change it. Not that you're ever going to do that. Obviously, we have people to do that for you. Okay, so when we're in here, you can see some incredibly neat stuff. Again, the burl wood, beautiful. The dash, the materials, incredibly fine. All of this, again, metal, handmade, gorgeous. Like the ignition over here on the left-hand side. Test your oil level with that. The windshield wipers here. All these fine little stalks. This very vintage looking PRNDIL, you know, that is, you know, could be on a 68 model. All the instruments are glass. They're Jaeger gauges. They're beautiful. You see just 56,000 miles on the clock. 140 mile an hour speedo. This thing will do about 120. So, you know, it's a lot of metal to get up rolling that high. This looks very aviation to me, probably part of the Rolls-Royce heritage. You know, beautiful gauge there with your voltmeter, your water temp, your oil pressure, your fuel, you know, all very, very nice stuff. These vents, again, handmade metal, the little pull knobs to shut them off, handmade metal, incredible, just absolutely incredible. You know, down to the leather separating the burl wood, the incredible little, you know, release mechanism that's overbuilt for the glove box, the burl wood glove box itself. There we've got a set of books and service stuff in there, all very nice. And anyway, it's just such a gorgeous car. Down here you can see the original radio is provided by General Motors. That's, you know, of the era when some of that stuff was getting outsourced, and it's fine, works good, but it could have been in a Pontiac Fiero. Down here you've got an ashtray, lovely. You can have a nice, elegant Dunhill cigarette. You've got your mirror adjusts. You've got your, I suppose that turns out, no, that probably flips. No, it can't flip mirrors. You got two, so that probably flips off the power windows. You've got your seat controls, which look very Benz-ish and work quite well. These lovely big armrests here that do open up, and look at that. We've got our Miami Vice phone ready to go. So if you got to call Tubbs and get things rolling, nice, you're all set. All right, let's fire it up and go for a spin. Never did like that sickly sounding warning buzzer they have. I think that's something that could have been updated. You know, even a nice bing like they used to have on the Rivieras would be better. Put seatbelt on. The O2 sensor light self-tests for a little while, then goes out. I'm sure we're going to get the anti-lock light, but maybe not. It seemed to come and go. Some kind of sensor on the right front wheel. You feel nothing right now. I mean, you know, I've got the sound of the blower motor. You can hear that humming a little bit, but otherwise not a hint of vibration from the engine, no sound at all from outside. It's like you know, the inside of the Philharmonic in here when nobody's in it. You can see that long expansive hood with the raised fenders on either side, the Spirit of Ecstasy in the middle. I mean, that view is so absolutely historical and has been seen by so many fascinating people over the course of, you know, more than 100 years, and you know, you can't help but be a bit awed by that when you're driving one of these cars. I like the digital readouts. I think that's kind of cool, new versus old. You know, in 1980 that was pretty forward. You know, now it looks like your Sony alarm clock from the 80s, but it's still kind of neat. Electric shifter requires basically zero effort to move around. Works great. This is a 3-speed turbo hydromatic GM transmission in this thing. You know, so trannies are cheap, and it's the world's most bulletproof unit, so probably never have tranny trouble in this car. By the way, if you want to see very unpleasant, there's our anti-lock light. If you want to see some very unpleasant Google results, Google tranny trouble. Okay, so going down the road in this car, I mean, you absolutely feel like Prince Charles. I mean, it is just unlike anything else. I have to say, the one big problem with it, the one part of it that really troubles and bothers me, is sharing the road with all these commoners. I mean, here I am on my way to Lady Chatterley's estate. I'm going to have a nice weekend of fox hunting in the country. And look at this. You've got Acuras with mismatched bumpers and no hubcaps and strange-looking Blazers with vinyl tops over them. It's just so inelegant. But anyway, what are you going to do? You got to get where you're going, and I suppose the roads are for public use. And the honking. Everybody's pissed off. I don't know why. And let's shoot out in front of this lawn crew truck. Hopefully he won't run into us. So there's the power of this thing. It'll pull it all the way up to 120. You are not supposed to be hammering this car, so let's hammer it. Very minimal response. Again, it's like moving a Sherman tank down the road. This guy's trying to run into us. So, you know, the point is not spirited driving. If you want that, buy a Bentley. It has a different badge, so it's faster, at least from this era. This was all about elegantly going down the road, you know, feeling pampered, proper, wealthy, arrived, you know, like, you know, separate from the rest. And man, does it do that. You're completely detached from all sound and vibrations. You've got this elegant, lovely, incredible ride underneath you. You've got all the finest materials and you know, touches at your fingertip. And it's just such an epic feeling. And to know that you can buy these cars for what you can get them for, you know, this thing was 130 grand in '88, twice the price of an S-Class. And it can be bought for peanuts today. And the nice thing is nobody really knows it. You know, when they see it going down the road, they don't have a clue what it costs. And, you know, they kind of look at you a bit longingly sometimes, or, you know, like you're part of the 1%, and they want to, you know, I don't know, send Antifa after you, but it doesn't matter. I mean, there is just nothing in the world like driving a Rolls-Royce. They're so lovely, so elegant, you know, such an incredible history. And thank God that there is a crew of, you know, guys out there keeping these things going, giving them the love that they need and preserving them the way that they have. So anyway, if you have an interest in this one, give us a call. This is a 1988 Rolls-Royce Silver Spur, the long wheelbase, 56,000 miles, black outside, gorgeous red inside, and it is one of the best examples I've seen in a long time. If you have an interest, give us a call, 239-298-8000, on the web at Mercedes, no, there I go with the old web address again, on the web at aenaples.com. Always happy to talk to you about this or any other car we have. So thank you very much. We appreciate it. We'll see you with the next one. Take care.